The movie opens with the sound of distant jungle drums. The screen fades from black as the camera glides over thick green trees and golden dunes. A voiceover begins, calm, cinematic, filled with mystery. Sometimes the game doesn't end when you finish it. Sometimes it waits for you to come back. Months have passed since Spencer, Martha, Fridge, and Bethany escaped the deadly world of Jumanji. Life outside the game feels ordinary now. Everyone else is moving forward, except Spencer. He misses the adventure, the danger, the feeling of being strong and fearless as Dr. Smolder Bravestone. In real life, he feels small again, invisible, lost in the crowd. Late one lonely night, Spencer opens an old box under his bed. Inside lies the broken Jumanji console, dusty, half-cracked, but still humming faintly with power. He stares at it, torn between fear and curiosity. Then slowly he begins to fix it. Sparks flicker, wires connect, and suddenly the familiar drums thunder through his room. Spencer's eyes widen. The light flashes, and he's gone. Morning comes. Martha, Fridge, and Bethany meet for breakfast, laughing about college stories, until they realize Spencer isn't answering his phone. They go to his house and find the console glowing on the table. Panic spreads across their faces. Fridge mutters, "Oh no." He went back in. Before they can plan, Spencer's grandfather Eddie and his old friend Milo wander into the room, confused by the strange machine. Suddenly the console sparks violently, and every one of them gets pulled inside the game. A blinding flash. Roaring wind. They tumble through clouds and crash into burning hot sand. When the dust clears, they're back in Jumanji, but something is terribly wrong. Everyone is in the wrong avatar. Eddie looks down at his enormous muscular arms, shouting, "What the hell is this? I look like Dwayne Johnson." Milo speaks in a slow, professor-like tone from inside Kevin Hart's body, amazed at every detail. Martha realizes she's still Ruby Roundhouse, while Fridge screams as he finds himself stuck in the overweight body of Professor Oberon. Chaos erupts as they try to understand who's who. Out of nowhere, a familiar Jeep screeches to a stop. Nigel the pilot steps out with his perfect smile and cinematic accent. "Welcome back to Jumanji," he announces. But beware. The game has changed. He explains their new quest. They must retrieve the Falcon Jewel of Jumanji, stolen by the ruthless warlord Jurgen the Brutal. The levels are harder, the rules have shifted, and if they fail, Jumanji itself will collapse. Before anyone can argue, Nigel drives them straight into the desert. The heat waves blur the horizon. Suddenly, a cloud of dust rises. An army of giant ostriches charges toward them. Their legs slice through sand like bullets, their beaks glint under the sun. Bravestone floors the accelerator. Finbar shouts random animal facts no one needs, and Ruby kicks at the birds clinging to the Jeep. Milo freezes, panicking, while Fridge yells, "This is not the same Jumanji." They barely survive, leaping the Jeep off a cliff as the ostriches crash behind them. The vehicle lands hard but safe. Eddie jumps out, grinning. "That was awesome." The rest glare at him. This level is no joke. Night falls. They camp among ancient ruins glowing under moonlight. Fridge paces angrily. "We don't even know where Spencer is. What if he's already dead?" Silence. Martha looks up at the stars. "We'll find him," she says softly. "We always do." The camera pans upward, the jungle drums echo faintly again. Somewhere deep in Jumanji's dark heart, Spencer is alive. But he's no longer Dr. Bravestone. He's trapped in a brand new avatar, facing dangers none of them have ever seen. The screen fades in with the echo of drums and the rustle of leaves. The camera pushes through the jungle, past waterfalls and cliffs until it finds a lone figure climbing a massive rock wall. It's Spencer. But he's not Dr. Smolder Bravestone anymore. This time he's inside the body of Ming Fleetfoot, a skilled female thief with incredible agility. Her eyes are sharp, her movements fast, and her mission clear. Survive long enough to find her friends. She leaps across ledges, dodging traps, and snatches a golden map from an ancient pedestal. The ground trembles, arrows shoot from the walls, and a massive snake lunges at her. Spencer barely escapes. Exhausted, he looks at his reflection in the water and mutters, "What the hell, Jumanji? Again?" Cut to the rest of the team. Deep in the desert ruins, the group argues nonstop. Eddie refuses to listen to anyone, still amazed by his muscular Bravestone body, while Milo keeps giving long scientific speeches about desert wildlife. Fridge, trapped in the old professor's body, shouts, "This is the worst upgrade ever!" Ruby tries to keep the team together, but the chemistry is a disaster. Suddenly, the sand begins to shake. From beneath their feet, a massive creature bursts out. A herd of mad ostriches followed by armored soldiers on camels. The team runs for their lives. Ruby leads them through collapsing ruins while Bravestone punches his way through the chaos. They dive into a canyon, landing in an oasis surrounded by waterfalls. For a moment, it feels peaceful, but Jumanji never lets them rest for long. From behind the trees steps Alex, the pilot they met in the last game, still alive and ready to help. He's now back as his old avatar, Jefferson Seaplane McDonough. The group is relieved to see a friendly face. Alex explains that he's been hiding here, waiting for someone to help finish the mission. He knows where Jurgen the Brutal is, hidden in the icy fortress beyond the mountains. But to reach him, they must cross the deadly switching waterfalls, magical pools that can swap bodies if touched. The team prepares to move. Nigel's voice echoes mysteriously in the sky. Remember, strength alone won't save you. Only teamwork will. They march into the jungle through twisting vines and roaring rivers until they reach the glowing waterfalls. The water sparkles like liquid light. One accidental splash and everything changes. The screen flashes and when suddenly everyone's in new bodies again. Fridge is now back in Finbar's body. Milo and Eddie switch places. Ruby nearly falls in but grabs a branch just in time. Confusion explodes. Milo, now Bravestone, flexes in awe, while Eddie struggles to control Finbar's tiny frame. Fridge yells, "Man, I can't keep track of who's who anymore." Despite the madness, they push forward. On their way, they encounter a village attacked by Jurgen's men. The villagers cry for help, and for the first time, Eddie's eyes soften. He remembers what it means to be a hero. Bravestone charges in, fists blazing. Ruby takes down a wave of enemies with her signature dance-fighting move, and Finbar accidentally saves a villager while running for his life. The fight is intense, fast, and funny. Classic Jumanji chaos. After the battle, they rest by the fire. Milo tells Eddie that life is short and full of second chances. Maybe Jumanji gave them this one for a reason. The two old friends share a quiet moment, laughing about the past. In the distance, thunder rumbles. The final level is calling. Cut to Jurgen the Brutal, tall, armored, and terrifying. He stands on his frozen mountain fortress holding the glowing falcon jewel of Jumanji. His eyes burn with power as he growls, "Let them come." Lightning strikes behind him. The camera zooms out, showing his massive army preparing for war. Back at camp, the group studies the map Spencer stole earlier, the one that leads to Jurgen's fortress. Martha stares at the glowing lines and whispers, "He's alive. Spencer's still in the game." The team looks at each other, tired but determined. Ruby clenches her fists. "Then we finish this, together." The jungle drums grow louder, echoing across the night. The torches burn bright as the team sets off toward the mountains. Their final challenge awaits. The camera pans up through the mist, lightning flashing over the icy peaks. Jumanji is changing. And so are they. The sound of roaring wind fills the screen. The camera sweeps over snow-covered peaks and frozen cliffs, the final level of Jumanji. Our heroes, now battered and exhausted, march through the storm. Their breath fogs the air, their clothes frozen stiff, but their determination burns brighter than ever. Ahead through the blizzard stands Jurgen's fortress and a monstrous citadel of black steel and ice. Voiceover. Every game has a final boss. But this time, the fight isn't just for survival, it's for friendship, redemption, and one last chance to go home. Inside the fortress, torches flicker against stone walls. Guards patrol with axes, and the sound of Jurgen's heavy footsteps echoes in the distance. The team hides behind the icy pillars, whispering their plan. Ruby scans the map Spencer found, tracing the glowing line that leads to the Falcon Jewel's chamber at the top tower. "We split up," she says. "Half create a distraction. The rest go for the jewel." Eddie, still in Finbar's small body, crosses his arms. "You mean me? I can't fight like this." Ruby smirks. "Then talk fast. You're good at that." Moments later, explosions shake the fortress. Bravestone, now Milo's avatar, smashes through the front gate, roaring like a warrior. Ruby and Fridge sneak through the back corridors, dodging guards, slipping across frozen floors, and climbing narrow ledges toward the tower. The music builds, pounding drums, echoing horns, the sound of destiny approaching. High above, in the throne room, Jurgen the Brutal waits. A towering figure in black armor, eyes burning like fire, the falcon jewel glowing in his gauntlet. He turns as Bravestone bursts in. "So, you're the one they call the hero," Jurgen growls. Bravestone clenches his fists. Not just me. We're all heroes this time. The two charge. A thunderous clash shakes the hall. Punches like earthquakes. Sparks fly as blades crash against stone. Bravestone is thrown across the floor but rises again. Blood on his lip and fury in his eyes. Let's finish this. Meanwhile, Ruby and Fridge reach the tower's top balcony. The jewel rests on a pedestal surrounded by traps. Ruby performs her signature slow-motion spin kick dance, leaping over pressure plates and flipping across beams, while Fridge shouts random complaints, but somehow manages to help. Just as they grab the jewel, the fortress starts collapsing, Jurgen's power breaking apart with the loss of the gem. Down below, Bravestone lands the final hit, a massive slow-motion punch that sends Jurgen crashing through the ice. The jewel glows, releasing a blinding wave of golden light. The storm outside fades. Silence. Nigel's voice echoes through the air. Congratulations, players. Jumanji is safe once more. The team gathers at the summit as the sun rises. For a moment, they just breathe. The nightmare finally over. Milo looks at the jewel and smiles softly. You know, I think I'll stay. The others stare in disbelief. Milo explains that his real-world body is weak, but here in Jumanji he feels alive again. He wants to guard the world that gave them all a second chance. Eddie hugs him, eyes wet but proud. Then take care of it, old friend. The sky opens with a beam of light. One by one, they're lifted out of the game. Ruby, Fridge, Eddie, and finally Spencer. Cut to the real world. The friends wake up in Spencer's basement, gasping for air. The console sparks one last time and dies. Everyone looks around and alive together, stronger. Eddie smiles at Spencer. You fixed it, kid. Not just the game. Yourself. Spencer laughs through tears. They walk outside into the snowy street. The camera follows from behind as the group heads toward a diner, sunlight glowing around them. But just as the screen begins to fade,